Hi everyone, today I'm going to share with you my creamy and rich coconut and passion fruit cheesecake recipe. This is really a foolproof recipe that will give you a great cheesecake every time. Let's start with making the graham cracker crumb. For this we need 75 grams of graham crackers, 20 grams of unsweetened coconut, 12 grams of brown sugar, and 12 grams of white sugar. We're going to pulse this in our food processor until it gets crumbly. It should have the texture of really coarse sand. Then add 45 grams of melted butter and pulse again until it comes together. Now that the crust mix is ready, we want to press 45 grams of the crust into our 4-inch springform pans. We want to make sure that it's spread evenly onto the bottom and then press firmly down just to make sure it's spread evenly and flat. We need to bake these at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 18 minutes. This is a good time to toast your coconut if you want, and those need to toast for 8 minutes. On to the filling. We want to start with 454 grams of room temperature cream cheese, half a teaspoon of salt, and 80 grams of sugar. When we mix this, we want to get as little air into the filling as possible, so use a spatula and not a whisk. When you do this, you want to fold everything in and just kind of work it into itself. Don't beat it too much, otherwise you will get air into there. To make a beautiful cheesecake, make sure all your ingredients are room temperature. If they're cold, when you bake the cheesecake, it'll souffle or puff up and then fall when it's cooling down. Next, we want to add 80 grams of coconut milk and a quarter teaspoon of vanilla extract. There are big variations between brands of coconut milk, so this recipe is based off of using the Chaoka brand coconut milk. The last thing we need to do is add our 2 room temperature eggs. You want to add these one at a time and fold them in until they're fully incorporated. Now let's fill our 4-inch springform pans. This recipe makes 3 of them, so fill each one with 220 grams of our cheesecake batter. So most springform pans are not watertight, and since we'll be baking these in water bath, we need to wrap them in plastic wrap and foil. Make sure that the water was boiling before you add them to the pan, otherwise they'll take longer to cook. We're going to bake these at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour and 15 minutes. Some people check the jiggle of the cheesecake to see if it's done, but this is not very consistent. The best way to tell if they're ready is to cook them to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. This will guarantee 2 things: 1, that they're not overcooked, and 2, that they're fully cooked. Let the cheesecake sit on the counter for about an hour to cool down, and then put them in the fridge overnight to fully set. Now onto the passion fruit jelly. I had a really good harvest this year in my backyard from my vines, and my daughter loves grabbing these every morning. For this we need 120 grams of passion fruit juice. If you're using fresh passion fruit, strain out the seeds but save them. We'll add some back later. So we want to take our 120 grams of passion fruit juice and add 8 grams of sugar. These were really sweet, so I didn't have to add too much, but check yours, you might need to add a little bit more if they're too tart. We want to mix 1.5 teaspoons of gelatin and 2 tablespoons of the juice and let it bloom for 5 minutes. While the gelatin is blooming, we want to bring the rest of our juice to a boil. This is what we're looking for our gelatin to be bloomed. It should be all absorbed into the juice. Then we want to add that to our bowl and pour our hot juice on top of that. If you're going to add your seeds back to it, now would be the time to do that. Now that our jelly's cooled down, we want to pour 40 grams of jelly on top of each cheesecake. Then we're going to put it in the fridge for 2 hours and let the gelatin fully set. And to finish our passionfruit cheesecake recipe, we just need to top it with our toasted coconut, and I put a little bit of julienne lime leaves on top just to give it a little added flavor. I hope you like my passionfruit cheesecake recipe. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, guys, and drop me a comment and let me know what your favorite flavor of cheesecake is. See you next time.